You are one of the strongest athletes in the world. What is the right diet for you for that?
I've experimented with every diet. Just to be very basic, I mean, if you're eating enough food, you're probably going to be okay.
Totally changed his shape there, then it's got into a hook. We are inside, and Devon now starts to apply the pronator and roll out from there. Engaged it for a moment and then straight to the pronator.
Okay, fair warning, this video is going to only apply to those who need to bulk, who are in severe need of weight gain. If you're cutting, please disregard everything I say, and do not eat like a monster. Now, this topic for the video came to my mind from a Devon Larratt interview. You saw it on the screen. It wasn't the original clip that he said it in, but I couldn't find that one. I'm pretty sure it's been taken down. Before East vs. West 16, where he faced Gennady Kvikvinya, big fucking fat Georgian Santa Claus, man, Devon gained like 70. I think he gained like 70-ish pounds in a couple of months. And the way he described it was that he eats like a monster. Now, this was all the motivation I needed to actually go on with my bulk, because for the longest time, I've been stuck at fucking 160 pounds. Skinny ass neck that you can still see the remnants of. I have to do the revival fitness thing where you flex your traps the whole day just to not embarrass myself. Still severely underdeveloped arms. You can see they're fucking snappable in half very easily. And this is all because I didn't take the bulk far enough. I never actually committed to eating more food. Now, the Devon versus Gennady match. Devon Larratt, if you don't know, he's an arm wrestler. Gennady Kvikvinya is another arm wrestler. Devon lost to Gennady once, and the second time round, he gained a whole bunch of weight to make sure that didn't happen. And lo and behold, he absolutely demolished him. Bam, top roll easy. Hook, absolutely destroyed. Now, big reason he was able to do this was because of his weight gain. This video is allegorically like this. If you also struggle with weight gain and you're just like mentally really fucked, mentally super like it destroys you, that you're not getting stronger at the gym, but because you're not gaining weight. Let me actually show you this. Heaviest I've been probably in my life. I'm still doing a fuckload of pull-ups. Observe, watch me do it behind the neck like nothing. See? So, once again, hold on, I'm about to do a chest to bar super wide. Observe. Weight gain is cool. So easy. Okay. So no, it doesn't make you worse at weighted calisthenics, or just unweighted calisthenics even, except if you're like a complete moron and just gain 60 pounds only fucking stomach fat. But let's stop with the dilly-dallying. What's the practicable and practical steps and advice here? I was super afraid always of being. It's kind of a vulnerable video a little bit. Not too much, but it's just like a little bit cringe. Feels cringe to say. I was always vulnerable. Someone I would say. I was always afraid of coming off as gluttonous and eating too much, right? Because that's like, I just thought morally that was kind of wrong. Like, if you have a bunch of eggs, like, the carton is gone is like in like 2-3 days, and you don't feel that good about yourself because you took food away from your fucking family. Like, you eat a bunch of potatoes or rice or something, and you're like, oh wow, I'm being an asshole. I don't know if that's just me, because most people don't seem to have an issue with this. Actually, here in LA where I live, most people seem to have an issue with finishing their food, right? There are oftentimes I go to a restaurant with friends, and they fucking leave half of their portion. I'm like, what? You're not gonna send that back to the kitchen, are you? So I just like gobble that down as well in pursuit of gains. But a lot of people who don't have the issue of just like leaving half the plate there, a lot of them, they don't seem to have this issue. They don't seem to mind that it's just eating a lot of food, eating enough to grow. And some of the things I hear, it's like, what do you mean you have 8 eggs and a pound of fucking ground beef? Don't you feel horrible about yourself? And they're just like, no, of course not. Because like, on the macro scale, you one person eating like 4 eggs versus 3 isn't going to make that big of a difference to animal welfare or cruelty or anything like that. Obviously, if everyone in the world does this, it's a big difference. But you as one person, the world can afford your expenses of eating whatever extra food you have, right? You're not gonna... The amount of animal suffering that you eating like 2 chicken breasts versus 3 chicken breasts will cause, it's like the very minuscule difference. So let's get that out of the way first. It took me a very long time to overcome that. Now I just eat, not unnecessarily, right? Not like unnecessarily large amount, but I just eat a good amount of food. And I eat more frequently than I used to, but I'll touch on that later. If you're overwhelmed by all the culinary and nutrition advice you see online, but are simultaneously fascinated by how good the food you see on like Shorts, TikTok, Instagram looks, then it's time to check out Common Sense Cooking. First time purchases not only get 50% off, a little bit more than that actually, but also get to hop on a one-to-one call with me where we discuss a culinary topic of your choosing. In addition, these same first 10 get to request an additional module that gets added to the stack of the original course. Check out the link in the description now. Don't delay, act now. Thank you very much for your patience. Now let's get back to the actual video. Now, the second cope, right? Okay, let's say the animal welfare thing is kind of taken care of, but what about the abdominals? What about the abdominal definition? Every single time I've gained weight, I've looked leaner. More veins appear, more abs appear. Don't ask me how. Actually, do ask me how, because I have a theory. So the theory is when you're like relatively novice, beginner-ish in muscle, like I myself am in muscle development, I'm fucking nowhere near my natural limit. Actually, I don't think there is a natural limit, but that's a topic for another day. The more weight you gain, your body is kind of just like anticipating that and waiting for it to fill out your frame. And when you go, right, when you go and you finally give those extra calories, your frame isn't filled out. So until it is, you're not just going to get randomly fat. Obviously, if you're like collab genetics and don't train whatsoever, it's going to be a little bit different. But given that you train hard, your body will definitely appreciate the extra calories that you're giving it. Even in the worst, most washed out lighting possible with a blur effect on the camera, you can see the separation between individual abs. 1, 2, 3. So don't be afraid of gaining too much weight and getting just shit on absolutely aesthetically, as long as you actually train the right muscle groups. Trust me, your body will appreciate the extra calories if you're like me and you haven't gained a bunch of weight already and you still have your first like 30 or something pounds to fill out your physique. Now, for the frequency, for the meal frequency, eating like a monster also means having more than one meal a day. Because the thing I used to do, I would have super small breakfast, have nothing until like fucking 3 p.m. and then go to the gym on 0 glycogen, 0 carbs, whatever, and come home and then have like what I thought was a big meal, which was in reality just a not mediocre, it still tastes nice, but a medium-sized meal. This is very not good for muscle growth and optimally filling out your strength, because man, your blood sugar is all over the place. So you spike it in the morning because you're having some sort of carb. You fucking goes down and then it goes like this. So it's like a roller coaster instead of like, which is more like what you want it to be. So practically just eat something. Just eat something frequently throughout the day. If your big goal is muscle building, all of this, intermittent fasting and just fasting in general, maybe having just some green tea or black tea or some other like a mild stimulant, and then having nothing is nice if you want to stimulate the brain power, get very nice and smart. But if you're in this arc where you're prioritizing strength and gains in the gym, it's so helpful. Like the level of ease with which I'm doing numbers that I struggled with before are just like, it's ridiculous. It's just the strength is waiting to be unlocked if you just eat the food. Trust me. And everyone's told me this, but practically I still would be like, oh, okay, have a somewhat big breakfast, maybe fucking 3 eggs, avocado, maybe sourdough if I was feeling really frisky, but have just nothing until later on in the evening, where I would have like a somewhat big meal with like rice and a ground meat and a few vegetables. And if you add up the calories, just do it for 1 day. Trust me, that's nothing. So you do have to eat frequently. That's the number one thing. And the biggest thing here is the health trade-off. Because for me, school, cafeteria food is like the equivalent of like just willingly giving yourself cancer or some like other illness. It's probably not very good for you. And this is the one thing that I will cope, that can be kind of like interpreted as a cope, right? Because I pretty much am telling you to sacrifice health a little bit. Because if you eat the right amount of food and you get properly strong, given that your diet isn't like completely fucked, it is worth the health trade-off for your mental peace of mind, knowing that you're gonna get strong and knowing that you can undo this later. And it only takes like a couple of days for diet changes to take positive effect on you mentally, given that you haven't gone too far. So right now, yes, I eat things that maybe aren't the best for you. I still try and stay away from breads and pasta because those are really like gluten heavy and seem to just like make me a little bit, tiny bit mentally special. But other than that, all foods are pretty much a go. And this does sound bad. This does sound very bad. Yes, I concede. For health, it isn't good. For health, it is nowhere near the peak of diet. But it's so much worth, especially if your diet isn't 100% on point already, to keep the same level of healthiness, which is like maybe 80%, 80 to 20 split. It's so much worth it to just like keep that and keep a little bit of the shitty stuff in there, but have the mental well-being of you're going up, you're progressing in performance, and that you're in control, right? Because I don't feel addicted to any of these foods. It's super easy for me to basically do one meal a day. It's super easy for me to just like spam water and then like go without much food. And so, man, I just really wish I'd done this sooner, because if I would have done this sooner, then I could have done bulk cut. And when people do it shittily and don't train hard or don't eat the right, I don't know, don't track, maybe, I don't track, so that can be really it. But if they don't do it properly, if they mess up heavily, then the boxing cuts look like this, and you end up at the same place. Here's what a blocking cut is actually probably going to look like. Every single time you're ending up at a higher baseline. So you are gaining muscle, you are getting some form of lean mass, and for a while you pretty much don't need to cut, since like I said, if you're in my situation and you still haven't filled out your frame, you will get just more lean the more you gain weight. I know it doesn't make sense, but just believe me. From when I was 130 pounds to now at like 167, the amount of veins are exponentially more now. The amount of definition is exponentially more now. And it just looks better. No one can argue with it. It just looks better. So if you still have this ab anxiety, rewatch this video, or hopefully just watching it once already destroyed those limiting beliefs, and keep a couple of things in mind. Number 1, eat frequently. Number 2, be willing to sacrifice health temporarily. Number 3, the more weight you gain, actually the better you'll look. And you won't believe me, as long as you train hard, and you won't believe me until you try it. So just, if you feel stagnant, it won't hurt you to just try it. Give the advice a chance. In a month, gain like 10 pounds-ish, which sounds, oh wow, such unhealthy advice. In a month, gain 10 pounds, see how you feel. If you're having trouble because you don't know how to cook, all your dishes taste like anus, scroll down to the description. I do have a paid product that can help you out with that very much. So, thank you so much for your time today. Enjoy, please bulk properly. And remember, you may not have a lot of time on this world. Yeah, thinking about it often, we don't have that much time, but we have enough.